Hi there guys, Shannon, Princess Wrestling back here again, and today is my No Way Out 2012 review video. Overall decent pay-per-view, but I'll go through the matches so that you can differentiate the matches. The first match we got on the card was the World Heavyweight title match. Sheamus, current champion, versus Dolph Ziggler. Good back and forth in this match, found it quite exciting. The crowd were really hot for this, and the match itself, as I say, good back and forward, nice flow, some good they work well together, Sheamus and Ziggler. Always find that they work really well together. Sheamus retained, which was expected, but decent match. Second match, if you can call it a match. Well, there was a few wrestling moves. It was a tuxedo match between Santino Marella and Ricardo Rodriguez. What am I supposed to say about this? It wasn't a freaking wrestling match. There was boring chants all the way through it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Santino Marella, and I do. I love him to bits. I think he's hilarious. And he looked lovely in his powder blue tux. But it was just a waste of time. An absolute waste of time when they could have had a US champ match in there, even a Laurinaitis segment in that. I wouldn't have minded, but there was just no need for it whatsoever. The only interesting bit about it was that Santino had the Cobra sock, he had it on his hand at one point, but he also had one on his foot, and gave the foot Cobra, a Cobra with his foot. Okay, Santino obviously won the match. Boring. That's about all I can say. Would have been better if they'd actually had a proper wrestling match, although I suppose Ricardo's not a wrestler. But this kind of hokey 80s stuff is really getting on my nerves now. We move on. The next match was an Intercontinental title match. Cody Rhodes versus the current champion Christian. Decent match, good flow, as I say, and Cody. Not a lot of people rate Cody very high, but I do. I think Cody's a brilliant wrestler, and yeah, I quite enjoyed the match. Christian is still dealing with some injuries and didn't work as well as he normally does, but enjoyed the match, and Christian retained the title. Good match. Now this one kind of intrigued me a little bit, but also when you learn the combatants, you'll see why it kind of fell flat. It was a fatal 4-way tag team match. So obviously I'm a fan of tag team wrestling, so I was totally in for this match. And then you see the combatants: Primo and Epico, fair enough, they're a tag team. Tyson Kidd and Justin Gabriel. Not a team that I've ever seen before. Two very exciting wrestlers, but I've never seen them team before. Then we had Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. I'm not a big fan of watching SmackDown and stuff, so if they've been on SmackDown, I haven't seen them. I very rarely watch SmackDown, because if there's any good parts of SmackDown, they always show it on Raw, and I generally don't have time to watch it. And the Usos, the return of the Usos, Jimmy and Jay. Now, I love Jimmy and Jay Uso. I do. I love them to bits. I think they're a brilliant team. They work cohesively well together. But yeah, that was the 4 teams. It's not got the usual star power that you expect. And this match was for the #1 contenders to the tag team titles. The crowd was dead just about all the way through it. It was a decent match, but boring. Completely boring. There's no team you wanted to root for. I mean, yeah, I kind of had the Usos or Primo and Epico that I thought were going to win. But, I mean, it's full of NXT rejects. I mean, like, Gabriel, Titus O'Neil, Darren Young. The only wrestler in there that's got any sort of collateral about his character is Tyson Kidd. Tyson Kidd is a phenomenal wrestler, and I love Tyson Kidd. But there was just no interest in there for most people. There's some really, really good spots by Tyson Kidd. But again, that's the way he wrestles. There always is good spots when Tyson Kidd's there. They had a little kerfuffle thing with AW, who is Abraham Washington, but AW, we'll call him. He is a representative for Primo and Epico, but then quickly switched sides to Titus O'Neil and Darren Young. Boring, as you can tell, I only mentioned it just pure for the storyline element, but no, I'm not a big fan. So after that match, Triple H comes down to a massive pop, obviously. Always happens when you see the COO. And he came down to challenge Brock Lesnar to a match at SummerSlam. Something I think that will be a rather good match. But he's left it in Lesnar's hands, and we will find out on Raw what happens. Next match was for the Divas title. Layla, the champion, versus Beth Phoenix. Now, for a Divas match, I always expect, especially if it doesn't involve any of the models, but like Layla and Beth, I expected it to be a decent match and for there to be some decent moves, and there was. The match was quite good for the Divas match. I would reckon it more towards a knockout match, as in TNA knockouts, because the flow was good, the moves were good, the move sets were brilliant. So yeah, I actually quite enjoyed that match. Layla retained, which I didn't expect her to, because up until that point we'd had 2 more title matches, but no title changes, so I expected maybe the Divas would be the one to change, but no title change. And yeah, decent match. Now the next match, they could have easily put any other sort of feud in for a match, but I really don't understand this one. I know the storyline behind it, but I just don't understand it. Unico versus Sin Cara. Sin Cara, yeah, I know why they got him on the pay-per-view, because he's exciting and he is a good wrestler, but there was boring chants all the way through it, even though Camacho was there as well. Boring chants all the way through it. It just wasn't a good match. My problem with Unico and Camacho is they are a carbon copy of Mexican America, as in the TNA tag team Hernandez and Anarquia. They are a complete copy of that, and it's boring now. Just boring. Sin Cara won the match. Boring. So far, he's not. If they put him in a proper feud with someone who wasn't also a Lucha Libre wrestler, then maybe we would see some sort of character development, but I just don't see it. It's just me personally. Next match was the WWE title match. The triple threat match, sorry, I'll rephrase that, with CM Punk the champion versus Daniel Bryan and Kane. Now this was an exciting match. I did enjoy the match. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk always work well together from their years on the indie scene, and thrown in Kane as well. It was just a really, really good match with a slightly twisted and weird ending. Near the end of the match, AJ, the crazy chick, ran down and jumped up onto the apron, and I'm sure it was either Punk or Daniel, threw Kane into the ropes and obviously knocked her off the apron. And no one, I don't think anyone realised that, but Kane did. Kane looked down and saw her, and he wanted to go down and help her, but then got caught, and then Punk won the match. So right at the end of the match, as Punk's celebrating and Daniel Bryan sitting in the corner kind of doing nothing, Kane went down and he picked up AJ and carried her to the back, because obviously she was injured. And you see, when he's carrying her towards the back, AJ's little smile over Kane's shoulder looking at CM Punk. A little bit more to add to that, I think, but I forgot to mention, sorry. Previously, before the WWE title match even started, she was going round giving them all a kiss for good luck. And she gave Kane a kiss for good luck, and he grabbed her and snogged her face off. So I think that's why that happened. But I suppose we'll wait and see the weeks and months to come what develops from that storyline. Decent match. Punk won. Yeah. Next match, there was a 2-on-1 handicap match. I bet you wonder exactly what I'm going to say now. It was Dan Delaney versus Rob Grimes, two local jobbers, versus Ryback. Do I even need to tell you who won that match? Yeah. Ryback, or Skip Sheffield, as I still can't help from calling him Skip Sheffield, he won the match. It was boring. It was a 2-minute squash match. I know they're trying to put him over as some sort of monster, but I just don't see the point in it, really, to be perfectly honest. Next match, Cena versus Big Show in a steel cage. Now, this one, right from the off, I thought, boring, gonna be boring. It was kind of okay. For the Big Show, it was kind of okay. Cena, anyone who's watched my videos knows how I feel about John Cena. 5 moves, and he can't even do them properly half the time, but we'll glance over that because it's a bigger picture. But the match itself, okay, fair enough. Yeah, there was a kind of power struggle, and Big Show trying to climb out the cage door, and Cena pulling him back in, and it was a little bit with John Laurinaitis and Vince McMahon as well. Vince was trying to open the door to let Cena out, and then John Laurinaitis pushed him so that Vince then hit his head on the cage while the door shut and knocked Cena back in. So then Big Show knocks Cena out with his knockout punch, knocks Cena out. So he goes to walk out the door. Next minute, Brodus Clay with a chair, basically saying, come on out. And Big Show obviously didn't. So then Brodus Clay starts calling people down, sort of Zack Ryder, Kofi Kingston, Santino, and he seems to just swat them away, and Alex Riley as well, just swats them away. So then Kofi jumps up onto the top of the cage and kicks Big Show back in. Then Cena eventually wins the match. So Cena wins the match, and he gets John Laurinaitis up on his shoulders, ready for the AA, while Vince shouts "You're fired" right in Laurinaitis' face. The next minute, Age right through the Spanish announce table. Perfect ending. As people know, I'm not a John Cena fan, but perfect. It's the perfect way to end. I really did enjoy this pay-per-view. There was more good than there was bad. I mean, yeah, the tuxedo match, the Hunico match, there was some boring elements to the pay-per-view, but overall, it was quite enjoyable. I would give it a 3.5 out of 5. Slightly higher than what the Slamversary pay-per-view was, but there was more big, bold, exciting matches on this pay-per-view. If you've got any thoughts on tell me what you think of the pay-per-view, don't forget to leave them in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe up above and like this video. And thanks very much, guys. Hopefully I'll have my Raw review up pretty shortly. So, till then, bye.